Most people think making money is a straight line, but wealth is actually a 7-stage video game. Right now, as you watch this, you are stuck on one of these levels. And unless you learn the exact rules to unlock the next stage, your bank account will stay frozen exactly where it is today. Let's start at level 1, $0. Level 1, Survivor. You know this level. Maybe you lived it. Maybe you're in it right now. The account hits 0 before the month ends. Not always, not dramatically. Sometimes it's $47. Sometimes it's overdraft by $4. A notification that arrives on a Tuesday afternoon like a small door closing. On level 1, money is not a tool. Money is oxygen. Every decision gets filtered through one question and one question only. Do I have enough to get through this week? You stop checking on Friday nights. You already know roughly what it says. You just don't want to see the number. Looking would make it real. So you don't look. This is not a character flaw. It is a nervous system response. When the threat is constant, the brain stops processing it as information and starts processing it as atmosphere. The low account balance becomes the air you breathe in, unremarkable, invisible, everywhere. The level you're on doesn't feel like a level. Feels like your life. The exit from level 1 is not more money. People believe this. They're wrong. The exit is the first moment you make a decision that isn't about this week. Any decision. A $5 transfer to a savings account you don't touch. A choice about a bill that considers next month. One decision with a time horizon longer than 7 days. That's the door. Most people on level 1 walk past it every day. Level 2, stable. You are no longer surviving. You are managing. And management feels like progress because for a while it is. The bills are paid. The account doesn't hit 0. There is a rough number in your head, what comes in, what goes out, and you hold it there like a budget that lives only in your mind. You don't write it down. You don't need to. You've run the numbers so many times that the calculation happens automatically, the way a regular commuter knows exactly when to brake on a familiar road. But there is someone at the same income point doing something different. Adriana makes what you make. Same city, roughly the same rent, same rough arithmetic of a life in your 30s. She does something once that you haven't done yet. She opens a second account. Not for savings. She already has one she doesn't use. This one is different. She transfers $200 into it on payday and she treats it as if it does not exist. That's it. That's the difference. Not discipline. Not sacrifice. A $200 transfer and a choice to not look. You don't know it yet, but the exit from level 2 isn't a raise. It's the moment the money you stop looking at starts to exist as a separate thing. Something with a different purpose than getting through the month. The level you're on doesn't feel like a level. Feels like your life. Level 3, growth. This is the level most people think is level 5. You have money moving in the right direction. The savings account exists. There might even be a retirement contribution. Something through work that you set up once and don't think about. The debt is under control or moving toward it. When you look at your finances, you feel something that is close to pride and not entirely wrong. But there is a specific dinner you have been to. 12 people at a long table. A birthday or something close to it. The check comes and it gets split and the number is higher than you expected, and you say yes because everyone else says yes, and you smile the smile of someone who is fine with this. And you are mostly fine with it. But in the Uber home, something sits in your chest that is not quite guilt and not quite resentment. Something quieter. The feeling of a gap between your visible life, the person at the long table who said yes, and your actual position. Have you ever done this? Have you ever said yes to something you could technically afford but shouldn't, not because of the money, but because of what it would have meant to say no? Think about the last time you stayed in something longer than you should have. What made you stay? Level 3 has an enemy that level 2 didn't have. Level 2's enemy is scarcity. Level 3's enemy is lifestyle. The money starts moving in the right direction, and then almost imperceptibly the life starts moving too. The apartment, the car, the subscriptions, the dinners, the small upgrades that each feel like nothing. Not on anything crazy. Rent, a car payment, the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for, the lunches, the small upgrades that each feel like nothing. Each one is reasonable. Together, they form a ceiling. There was someone who watched level 3 from outside it and said so. Marcus, an analyst, ran the numbers differently. He pointed out that the problem with lifestyle inflation isn't the spending, it's that it raises the floor. Every upgrade is a recurring cost. Every upgrade makes the gap between income and investment slightly wider. Every upgrade requires a slightly higher income just to maintain the same level of growth. He was right. The room moved on. Nobody wanted to hear it right then. The exit from level 3 is the first moment you say no to something visible in order to say yes to something invisible. One decision where the invisible thing wins. That is the door. Most people on level 3 are one dinner away from it. Level 4, free. Say that word out loud for a moment. Free. It is the most used word in personal finance content. It is on the covers of books, in the titles of podcasts, in the descriptions of courses. And yet, when most people arrive at level 4, it does not feel the way they thought it would. Level 4 means your monthly expenses are covered by something other than your direct labor. A rental income, dividends, a side business that runs without you. The math works, roughly. If you stop tomorrow, you wouldn't immediately fall. But here is what nobody tells you about level 4. The first month, you feel something close to relief. The second month, you check the number more than you did when you were on level 3. By the third month, the freedom has a new texture. It is not the end of anxiety. It is anxiety about different things. Whether the rental property needs something. Whether the dividend stays. Whether the business is as passive as you thought. One night you open the car app just to look. A newer model. Financing available. Monthly payment that fits. Your thumb hovers over the button. The hover. Not the click. The hover. You close the app. You open it again. You close it. This is the most important moment on level 4. Not the number. Not the income. The hover. Because level 4 is the first level where the exit is not about money at all. The exit from level 4 is a decision about identity. Whether free means free from needing the money, or free to spend it. Most people who reach level 4 stop here and call it done. And it is genuinely something. It is more than most people have. But there are 3 more levels above it, and they operate by completely different rules. The level you're on doesn't feel like a level. It feels like your life. Every stage has one invisible exit. And on level 4, the exit isn't financial. It's psychological. The question isn't whether you can afford the next level. It's whether you can let go of the identity that level 4 built for you. Because level 4 has a story attached to it. You became someone who got here. Someone who did what most people didn't. The story feels good. And the story is the wall. Level 5, leverage. This is the level that looks from the outside like level 4, but operates by a different mechanism entirely. On level 4, you built one thing and protected it. On level 5, you build systems that build things. The distinction sounds abstract. Here is what it looks like in practice. On level 4, you own a rental property. You manage it or you pay someone to manage it and the check arrives monthly and you call that passive. On level 5, you own a system that acquires rental properties. The decision-making is systematized. The capital allocation is structured. You are not managing the asset. You are managing the conditions under which assets are acquired and managed. The money that reaches level 5 stops working for you. It starts working. Here is the number that sits underneath this. People who cross from level 4 to level 5 do not do it gradually. The data consistently shows a discontinuity, a moment where the compounding rate accelerates. The median time from $500,000 net worth to $1 million is roughly 12 years. The median time from $1 million to $2 million is roughly 4 years. From $2 million to $4 million, roughly 3. This is not because rich people are smarter in their 50s than their 40s. It is because level 5 has a different physics than level 4. On level 4, money works linearly. On level 5, money compounds. The system was not broken. It worked exactly as it was designed to work. The only question is, designed for whom? Level 5 also has an enemy. The enemy is complexity. The more a level 5 system grows, the more it demands. And the people who fall back from level 5 to level 4 almost always do it the same way. they add one thing too many. One business too many, one property too many, one obligation too many. And the complexity exceeds the system's ability to manage itself. The ones who make it through level 5 learn to say no to opportunities the way earlier levels learned to say no to expenses. Level 6, momentum. You don't wake up on level 6 and feel wealthy. You wake up and realize you stopped doing the math. Not because you stopped caring, because the math is no longer the right measurement. On level 6, the question stops being what does the account say and starts being what does the direction indicate. The number on any given Tuesday matters less than whether the number on the last 100 Tuesdays is a line with a slope. There is a moment on level 6 that almost everyone reports some version of. Comes on a Thursday. Not a milestone, not a celebration, a Thursday in an ordinary stretch of weeks. You are looking at something unrelated. A bill, an email, a report. And you glance at a number, the net worth number, the income number, the compound growth number, and something is different. Not the number. The number has been changing for years. What's different is that it no longer produces a feeling. You don't feel relief because you stopped waiting for it to go wrong. You don't feel pride because you stopped needing the performance. The number is information. Just information. That moment of non-feeling, that's level 6. And here is what it actually means. You have spent long enough on the correct trajectory that your nervous system has stopped treating money as a threat. The survival circuitry that activated on level 1, the one that stopped you from looking at your account on Friday nights, has finally been told. The threat is over. You can stand down. Most people never get here. Not because they lack the money, because they can't let down the vigilance. Level 7, elite. This is not a number. There are people with $20 million who are not on level 7. There are people with 2 million who are. The difference is not the balance. The difference is the relationship to the game. On every level below level 7, the money is the measure. On level 7, the money is the record, the evidence of a way of thinking that, if everything were lost, would rebuild itself. This is not something you are told. This is something you understand from the inside of it. And when you talk to people who are genuinely on level 7, they all say some version of the same thing. I stopped thinking about money as the goal somewhere around level 5. I'm not sure when exactly, but after that, it got much easier. There is a study of people with net worth above $5 million. When asked what changed their trajectory most dramatically, the top 2 answers were not investment strategies, not business decisions, not market timing. Number 1. They stopped competing with their visible life. Number 2. They found one person who was further along and asked one question. Not advice. Not a strategy. One question. What would you have done differently at my stage? That's it. That is the difference between level 6 and level 7 for most people who make it. Not intelligence. Not luck. Not even capital. The willingness to ask a question that implies you don't already have the answer. There is a version of you that is already in a different stage. You just haven't met the decision that gets you there. Maybe you've already seen this pattern somewhere in your own life. The moment you moved from one stage to the next without realizing it until later, when you looked back at the decision that had felt small at the time. Maybe you're in the middle of something that feels a little like this right now. On a level where the exit is visible but the identity attached to the current level makes the door harder to open than it should be. Maybe this is the first time you've thought about it this way. That the thing standing between where you are and where you're going is not the money. It never was. Think about someone you know right now who is on one of these levels and doesn't know it. The friend who is brilliant at managing level 3 and has been for 8 years and doesn't know that management is the ceiling. The parent who made it to level 4 and stopped because free felt like enough and they didn't know there were 3 more levels above it. The colleague who is on level 2 and every conversation about money is about the wrong question, more income, because they've never heard the right one. Send them this. Not because it will fix anything, but because the first thing that has to change is the map. The level you're on doesn't feel like a level. Feels like your life. That was always the point. The level is supposed to feel like your life. That's how it keeps you in it. What is the decision on your current level that you keep almost making, but haven't made yet?